Okay, hi! Hello, everyone. One moment.
What's up?
Okay, hi! Oh god, the horizontal one on YouTube is nightmarishly bad. Well,
Is it?
yeah, it's not great. um,
Oh yeah. No, that is not ideal.
Dear viewers, if you are watching this on YouTube, we apologize sincerely. If you're watching this on Twitch, it looks absolutely fine. But,
Yeah.
ooh. Well, you know what? I'll figure that out later. You guys on YouTube, just go to the Twitch for now. Hi, everyone! How are
What's
we
up?
all doing today?
Yeah, chat. How you doing? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a short. I think they think we're doing a short live, like from like
Yeah,
our phones.
that was not
Yeah,
intentional.
and
Oopsie.
it's not that. Love
Well,
to hear that we're doing good.
um,
Yes, well indeed. What's going
so,
on, Derry?
well, it's GenCon, and stuff is great.
GenCon.
Both in
Very good.
Paizoland and Plusland, everything's looking pretty good right now.
I would say so. Like, well, it's looking good, but I mean, like, Patreon's looking a little scary, you know. But I feel like that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, no, stuff on
Um,
Patreon is a little spooky. We are going to, we'll talk about that as well. We have a whole lot of stuff to go through. We have as
that's
well
true.
I also want to talk about the stuff that's been announced by Paizo's Gen Con stuff, because that's exciting.
That's true.
There's some really cool stuff.
Where do you start?
God!
I mean, even just Impossible Magic is kind of awesome. Like, so many big changes coming.
Yeah, no,
Like,
why don't we start there?
Magus and Summoner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think? Who should we talk about first? Which one? That's the question.
Let's start with Impossible Magic. Let's start with Magus, you know? And I think the elephant in the room is, you know, the casting change.
Yeah.
Because we get books a little early so that we can, like, start planning updates and releases and whatever. And when did we see Impossible Magic for the first time? I think it would have been...
It's
May?
It was a minute. We got a pretty advanced look, I would say, on like it was quite a bit out there. And I remember, like, my first initial like pass on it, I was like, not much changed. Like, because it was all, I didn't realize that the spell chart was different, you know, like that escaped my immediate notice, which is pretty big change. But I mean, they had a couple. Magus had two new subclasses, right?
Yeah. They did do a gun one and a dual wielding one, both of which obviously we have in Magus Plus. But we will be obviously we're not going to talk about Magus Plus here, I don't think, because we have not really sat down and thought about it.
Too soon.
But I think when we realized, oh my god, Magus has, like, full casting. Oh my god, Summoner has full casting. That was very exciting, because, like, bounded casting, I do like it as a concept, but
yeah,
it did always feel a little limiting, and it wasn't... I don't think it wasn't fun. It was fun, but it's going to be more fun and more open with this 2-slot casting. Psychic has been found dead in a ditch.
That is
its niche
baby.
is
like,
I guess it gets a 10th rank spell and Magus doesn't.
Which it's tough to justify getting your payoffs at level 19, you know, when you're really, you know, that far into the game. But and I think, I mean, I kind of agree with you on, like, the casting in terms of, like, making the classes feel a little bit more fuller and exciting. And I think establishing that paradigm that if you're going to be, you know, kind of a gish, right, then that that 2-slot trailing is enough to keep you feeling like a true Gish through the whole game and like getting stronger in the same way spellcasters are, but like that martial progression to kind of keep you a little bit in check in terms of the other side of it. Even with Necromancer kind of being like, it's a spellcaster with 2 slots, but I still feel like in terms of the way the undead is used, it still arguably feels Gishy. And so like that's an aspect of it that I do like that. And it honestly, I mean, for those of you that are using essence casting right now, I mean, bound casting had its own rules limiting you within combat. Now you only have to deal with the leaks, which is not super bad. I think pretty good deal if you're using essence casting with the bounded or the old bounded, if you will. So
no, overall, I think I mean I did write for Impossible Magic, and that was like quite a while ago. They came to us really early. Like I think Necromancer and Runesmith were still in playtest when that was happening, and they did not let us know that the slot change was coming. Like that particular project was just the way it was, and I don't think I have to hide anything NDA here, but I'll be careful anyway. Was they basically were like, every writer write about this type of spell. So like I was given divine spells and short range spells, and then also they had and here is a portion of the word count to just write whatever the hell you want, which was fun. And
that's really cool.
I was very pleased to see, because some stuff did get cut. And I'm fairly certain that's under NDA, so I'm not going to talk about like any spells that didn't make it in. But I was delighted that Fishing Spot made its way in.
I think it's an ace. It's quintessentially a very good spell too. So
is it good? Not particularly. Is it funny? Yeah.
I mean, it was immediate that everybody loved it that we saw in plus chat. Like they were. They were pretty happy with the spell. In fact, I think one of our mods called it out, was like, "Did you write this?" And
yeah, someone pinged me like, "Did you do this?" And I was like, "Oh my god."
Guilty. Yeah.
Less not positively received, but more controversial is Palm Held Sun, which I also did do, and it has been a hot topic, I feel. Oops. That wasn't intended. It crossed my mind, be like, yeah, you could cast this to make a vampire really upset. Because I think I'd fought a vampire slightly earlier. I had a vampire jump out at my party, and one of them had thrown like a sunlight bomb, and I was like, it was really cool to be able to pull that out in the middle of a dungeon deep underground with no sunlight. Wow, a spell like that would be awesome. I forgot. So, I can't talk about balance stuff now and what to do, what not to do in your games, but I think it's people's reaction to it. Fair enough. Fair enough, lads. But overall, I'm very pleased with how that book came out, and I think I haven't had a chance to really actually look at the final version of the Necromancer and Runesmith. How did they come out?
I think that they came out really strong, to be honest. Like, I'm pretty impressed with Necromancer's design in general. I know there are some people that are a little skeptical on like how well Reaper's gonna play. Because there's always people that are, obviously we would know, the complaints about War Priest not feeling, I suppose, gishy enough. But I think it came out in a really great spot. Like, I love a lot of the feats. I like Thralls. I mean, overall, I think when you think about wanting to play a Necromancer in a game, I think it does a really good job of separating itself from the traditional mode of that in most tabletop role-playing games, even like D&D, where you're just casting spells and it's like spending your summons to do it. Like, Thralls feel cool, and focus spells interacting with them is really great. So I am kind of like thrilled. I'm excited for a player to ask me, how would I play a Necromancer? Because I get a lot of new people to Pathfinder. So, how did you feel about Necromancer? Like, did it hit your aspirations?
I'm very pleased with the fact that
Good.
you can have a holy necromancer. That's
true.
One of my players has a character who their whole thing is that they are very in denial about necromancy being evil. And I've done like small references here and there. Like there's the Ergotoa in Clerics Plus, which is like, it's not necromancy, it's not evil, I'm using electricity, it's science, and it's okay to do. But having a holy necromancer was a little bit vindicating, being like, look, it's okay sometimes. I'm really interested to see, because I feel like that's probably a class will be asked to, do a plus for at some point. Not because it's weak, but because people are just excited about it and want to see more options for it.
Popular.
And that's very exciting. But I'm like, I wonder how doing more subclasses will work. Because there's only so many types of undead you can do. So that'll be really interesting, I think.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be some really cool stuff, but like, I can already imagine a lot of very cool feats. Maybe some like lichdom stuff where you yourself start becoming more undead as you level up. It's all very exciting.
Yeah.
Runesmith as well.
I think you play well in that. Oh, I was gonna say I think you play well in the undead and horror space as well.
Yes, so a little bit.
I would be excited. I would be excited to see it. Yeah, Runesmith. Let's hear your thoughts on Runesmith.
I like it. I really do. I think it's a really fun direction to take a martial that is magically inclined, but not just Thaumaturge 2. Because I remember when it was first coming out, there were a few people being like, a non-casting magic martial, we've been here before. But really, I do not see any similarity between them. They're both really good in their own space. And Runesmith, there was the anime that came out recently, Witch Hat Atelier. I don't know if you've seen anything about it.
I have. Yeah, no, I have. It is very good.
Yeah. While watching it, I was like, shit, this is just Runesmith. This is exactly what I am imagining when I go through the Runesmith class. I think they did a great job with it. I'm really, really excited with the Runesmith.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree. Yeah, I think especially when you compare it to Thaumaturge, it feels a little bit more... The thing I like about it when you mention like magic martial is that it feels like you're almost playing a spellcaster with the way you're doing your rune selections and picking and stuff, or maybe something closer to a commander while still filling in that kind of that martial role. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a tough needle to thread. And while I would say that, like a lot of the new classes, I tend to take a little bit of more time to consume. Necromancer was a favorite of mine in the playtest, so I did a lot of diving. But Runesmith, I still want to do some catching up on it. But in terms of the concepts and the implementation, it's really impressive. And for those of you that do like those kind of vibes for that like Battlefield, I don't know. I feel like it kind of fits well into Battlefield control and stuff like that too. So yeah, but not in the same way Commander does. It's a very cool idea. I love it.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. I think they really knocked it out of the park. I think Impossible Magic is... I don't want to say it's their best book in a hot minute, because they've been putting out good books, but I really like it.
I don't know if that's even a hot take. Like, it's not that they ever put out a bad book, but like, it's a banger. Mm-hmm. It's a banger for sure. Like, I mean, not that like even like Battlecry, I had some really great ideas. War of Mortal, great ideas too. Like, I feel like like, can you really surpass something like Jean Shaw, which got the 2-book treatment? Mm-hmm. But I mean, yeah, it's a really, really solid book. I'd say that it reminds me of like the bangers in some of those other books are really they bang, but like this is kind of an all killer no filler. For me. Like, no, I feel like there's not a part of the book I don't like. It's so good, But yeah, great job, Paizo. You guys crushed it. Absolutely awesome.
And plus, I'm with the quality of this, I'm really excited to see the upcoming stuff. They announced the Tome of Dungeons. So, yeah. Did you see that?
Let's go. I have not. No, fill me.
Oh,
pretend
damn.
I have not gotten to see keynotes, so please fill me in. I am waiting.
So, stuff they announced: Tome of Dungeons is going to be the next big GenCon book. That's going to be what the Daredevil and the Slayer are going to be in.
Okay.
And it's divided into 3 sections. There's Delvers, which is all the player options, including an Awakened Ooze ancestry and a Gargoyle ancestry, which is very cool.
Hey, for those of you that were fans of the, the Toon Disney Gargoyle show, now is your chance. Like, that's awesome.
There's then the dungeon section, which will just be a lot of stuff for GMs in dungeons. We don't know a whole lot more than that, but it looks very exciting. And Denizens is the last one, which is just going to be all sorts of monsters. And I'm really excited to see what they put there, because I've been digging the way they've done kind of like alternate bestiaries, you know, by having team stuff.
What was Dark Archive a little bit like that? I feel like they had some
more like Draconic Codex and stuff. Where Dark Archive I think did have some. Did it? No, it's Book of the Dead.
It had like
monsters.
It had the adventure. Oh, yeah. Book of Undead, and I think some of the LOs had them too.
Yes. Yeah,
okay.
But having a book with a bunch of dungeon monsters is very exciting. So that's awesome.
Very.
That's also
really cool the way they divided it.
I love it. I love it.
I'm digging
it's D&D and D.
Yeah.
But then they also announced, I think it's Legacy of the Forge, which I think was leaked a little while ago, but it's going to be Treasure Vaults too. And Treasure Vault was amazing.
Oh.
So, more please.
Well, is it a remaster of Treasure Vaults, or is it?
They've already remastered it. It's going to be a brand new book with just completely new content. So,
interesting.
Again, very exciting.
Very cool. Yeah, we need more stuff. I mean, items are cool in Pathfinder, so I'm always excited to see more.
And the last one I was mentioning briefly before. Yes, also the Saga Lands, which is great, exciting. But the last one, and this is a good pivot into Patreon, which we'll talk about briefly. They did announce a Numeria adventure pack at last. And they've also announced it's going to have a lot of Starfinder and Pathfinder crossover stuff. So you might be able to find like the area guns and like, you know, missiles from Starfinder and just give it to a barbarian and go to town, you know, blow up some aliens.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
That's going to be great. That. And you know what? Like I said, pivot to the Patreon talk. Perfect for our Pats Plus stuff because we have the Pathfinder and Starfinder crossover, which I feel people will be able to get good use out of in this Invaders from the Dark adventure pack. I think that's the name. I might be wrong. So, yes.
I mean, that sounds kind of awesome. Like, I mean, especially if you're a fan of, like, the old classes and you're not as acquainted with Starfinder, I feel like that's a pretty cool jump-in point to be like, okay, well, I know Fighter or Exemplar, right? Like, I'll play an Exemplar from the Gap. You know, and it's like, then it's like you kind of get to play something you're familiar with, but then you also get to engage in things like, you know, the Starfinder system for like glitching or piloting and all the other stuff that you can do. So hopefully you guys get a chance to use some of that stuff for that AP.
Exactly.
That would be really cool.
I'm really, really excited. Pats Plus, we are doing very well with that. That's coming along very nicely. We've been doing a lot of play testing. I'm trying to remember what subclasses have been talked about so far in the play tests.
So we've gotten, I mean, I think I would like to say that we have gotten a run on almost every single thing across the first 3 years, which is pretty cool. But I think a couple of the repeats is like the weather subclass for Psychic. I forget the name off the top of my head, but it is a lot of fun. People like that. The Alchemist, I believe there was also, for the Primal year, those two got played, and the Alchemist has a similar weather-themed one. And then I know the Gap Exemplar got played, and that was kind of interesting. And then the Thaumaturge Chair does seem to be a popular one. That's gotten a couple of times. People come back to that one.
I do love the Thaumaturge Chair one. It's very fun.
It's kind of it's cool. It's like, I don't know. I think that started off as a joke, and then we were like, wait, like, are we cooking
we
or...
ended into making a proper, like, it's very silly because like a lot of thaumaturge stuff, it's like you have to have a hand and something you hold, and you know that's it. But in this, it's you have a chair, a throne, a stool, whatever it is, and you just kind of plop it down, you sit on it, and interesting stuff happens because of it, and that's so fun.
Yeah, it's really cool. And oh yeah, so Jelly, one of our resident GMs, actually got to play a game as the alchemist of weather, which I think went okay. I think we always get pretty useful feedback in our playtests. So once again, thank you to the plus testers. You guys do nothing but make us better. We really appreciate it. It's been Paths has been in playtest for like a bit now, but
yeah.
You know, priorities. We've been working on. We just finished up Alchemist Plus, and we're still working on Adventures Plus. And Alchemist Plus was a big one. It was our biggest Classes Plus so far.
We say that every time, but I feel like
true.
Next one won't be as big either way. Not because we're not going to put in as much work. It's just when you make Alchemist, you have to have so many items, and items really do take up a lot more space than you'd imagine.
They do. They absolutely do. And you kind of can't really do a subclass for a specific item type unless they're deep enough in assets to be able to, you know, get there. So like, you know, I love the bottle monstrosities that we did, the new alchemical plants. They're absolutely fantastic. I especially like that we did like the new alchemical, like not like the permanent items, you know. The alchemical glove, like I love that one with poison, and then you know we had the sludge and acid machine. You know, instead of your flamethrower, you got your other elemental options. So it's been a lot of fun to see, you know, how those go in playtest and stuff. And now they're out in the wild, you know, people really like them. So
I have a alchemist in my home game for Season of Ghosts. There is one of the players is playing a Leshy, who is a phytologist, which is the plant alchemist.
That's
and
awesome.
It's been great. One of my favorite moments was like, oh, how are you guys going to be able to cross this river? You know, it's super haunted and you don't want to swim in it. And the Leshy like looks up like, wait, I have a raft, and just pulls out a few seeds, creates the buoyant hyacinth, I think it was, and is able to sail across. And that was really fun. So
I definitely love all. I mean, Derry, you kind of pioneered a lot of the alchemical plant work for the book, and I feel like some of those concepts of like buoyant high. It's easy to see where you like saw this going in an adventure to like enhance.
A correction, Mr. Saunders, you came up with the buoyant hyacinth. That was you.
Did it? Was it me?
Yes, it was. I renamed it, but it was. You were the one who came up with lily pads that float across, so that was you.
Okay, all right.
I think what happened was we were trying to do it originally more like the existing alchemical plants, which are a lot of oils and ointments, and I think we realized very quickly, oh god, this is so difficult. This was hard to make anything that wasn't just that. And Hyacinth was one of the first ones you made. You were like, hey, hold on. What if they're just plants you kind of grow poison ivy style? And that was that. And I think there was one where you fall and you take less fall damage.
But you came up with the this was because you named it after the ivy that grows. And
yes,
right? Isn't that it?
Yeah.
Oh,
but
shoot.
There we go. It's a collaborative effort on everything. I don't think at this point we can say, oh, this person does this person does that, because we do kind of just like keep tennising it back and forth.
It's a hot potato that keeps going.
Yeah.
That we're not. By the time it's at the end, we're both like, I barely touched it, and it's like, well, yeah, but collectively there was like 10 back and forths. But but there was a lot of really cool plants in there, and I also have an alchemist in my upcoming campaign. Yeah, it changed out from cloistered cleric to chirurgeon, and I'm excited to see the new one in action. It's already been fun so far, but
that's awesome.
You know, should be cool.
Yeah,
I do love Alchemist very much. That was a really fun book for us to write, and I feel like as large as it was, and as much went into it, I'm very proud with where we landed.
Yes.
I think it's a great book.
Like, I'm so pleased with it. The feats are really fun. The concoction stuff came out great. I'm really pleased with where Alchemist Plus landed. So, no complaints there. Whatever we end up working on next, which we'll probably, within the next few months, be having a vote finally. It's been a while.
That's true.
Because we've been so locked into the many projects that we have running right now.
Quite a few. Yeah, in fact, we're juggling two upcoming, along with the Pats Plus, which we mentioned, that's been running for a while. Like, we're ready to. I think we've kind of just been like, let's get through Adventures Plus, and then Shining Kingdoms, we're just going to hit the ground running, because we've actually got all of the content ready to go for the Plus testers, but we're starving them right now to try to get through
we're like, focus on this, we'll get back to you. But like, let me even pull up, because I feel I have some of the Shining Kingdom stuff. Let me see if I can find anything.
Please. Let's even the Plus testers can be surprised today.
Yes. So some of this, here we go. We have an intrigue methodology for the investigator.
Let's go.
And this, like I said, this hasn't been turned over, so stuff is liable to be changed. Everything is in like asterisks here, but this is just a raw turnover. This is by Sen HHS, who is extremely talented. I love working with her. The intrigue methodology. Tongues run loose in your presence, and people share more than they politely should while you listen intently. In untangling the falsehoods in gossips and rumor, you pay bare the truth within the whispered secrets. You are trained in deception, you gain the charming liar skill feat, you can pursue a lead at the same time you gather information or lie, as long as your conversation during the activities involve an active investigation you currently have, or you are seeking information that can let you pursue a lead. And you also gain the fish for tails action, which is one action, auditory concentrate, blah blah blah. You tell a blatant lie to coax the truth out of a target. You make a deception check, the target's then immune for an hour, and the target is compelled to correct your lie by saying whether it is true or not, which is very cool.
Interesting. That's awesome.
So I'm just imagining, this is actually hilarious, because I'm looking at this and being like, wait, one of my players is playing an investigator who would fit this to a T.
That's perfect.
But it's you could kind of like, be just gossiping with, some high up person who's maybe a little bit involved in what you're trying to do, and you could be like, oh, I heard the king is having an affair with the chancellor, and the other person would be like, well, no. And then you're like, oh, interesting. Tell me what exactly is happening. Which is very cool. There's a lot of very cool stuff there. We also have, we'll go with this. I'm not going to go into it too much, but the Andoran Gunrunner. The core principles of Andoran, equality, justice, and liberty, speak deeply to the nation's stalwart patriots. While many such patriots heed the call to join the Eagle Knights or to serve in other forthright ways, some Andoran true believers feel that times have become too desperate for these limited roles. These patriots have decided to move entirely past legal means to strengthen their nation. They've devised ways to bring firearms and other valuable armaments into their homeland without waiting for permission. But while making money can be welcome benefits, their motivations are far from mercenary. True patriotism is the hallmark of a gun runner.
Wow, interesting. I love
cool.
that. That's very cool. I love that. Who's the author for this one?
Who was it? I believe.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
Hold on, let me pull it up. I have to go through my DMs. It's been a minute. We've had these delivered for a hot second now. I think it might be Matt Morris. But I could be wrong there.
Okay.
It might also be Andrew White. It's one of them. I know that. I think it was Matt. I think Matt was the one who did this, and Andrew did more stuff for GOT, if I remember right. There's some very cool stuff here. Sorry, one of the feats for the Gunrunner is out for a pleasure cruise, ... at night. Which is all about, you get additional lore or sailing lore, and you can use deception instead of diplomacy to make an impression while at sea. Very cool. And I've just realized I definitely am streaming DMs. Oops. Sorry about that.
They're actually backwards, so you can't see them.
You can't see anything. Great. Don't worry about that.
That's funny. Well, that's very exciting. I cannot wait for us to get Shining Kingdoms out and ready to the people, because we owe people an Omens as well. I feel like, they're always they're special. I feel like I love how they put the focus on a place in glory, and that's already getting decent attention, I feel like, especially with the books that they put out. But it's nice to be able to take people that were close to the subject matter and give them a chance to put their feet back on the ground again.
Yeah. So
awesome.
Beyond that, what else are we looking at? What's on our agenda? Let me pull that open quickly.
I mean, it's only been in the agenda for so long. Let's see. I think first turnover to plus test. First turnover. We're working on the book Adventures Plus since. Assignments went out last year. First turnovers December's, January's, I think, was around the early time, and then we've been working the material for a while. And plus testers got it, I want to say, in April. So it's been a lot of churning through the content and improving it. But yeah. Adventures Plus, even in May for the PilotCon, we had worked on quite a few things, but some things have changed since then. We've updated and we've added new material to Plus Test, and I'd say for those of you that have been wondering how Trickster and Vessel are coming out, we might have some answers for you on the stream. But where should we start, Derry? What do you think? Where since the last time we talked about Adventures Plus, I'm trying to remember.
Gosh, well, do we want to go right in with the classes? Do we want to talk about some of the little systems that are going to be in the book? What do you think?
I think I really love horror, and I know that's just kind of gotten into the hands of the plus testers. So can we talk about horror mode a little bit? Because I really do think it's cool. And it kind of works for a lot of different. We'll get into that later, but it's a cool system. Yeah.
So I've talked about this before, and it's been one of my pet projects in Pathfinder for a hot second. But I'm very pleased with it. Horror mode is. I said it was originally lifted from the Magnus Archive role-playing game by the Cypher System Monty Cook, sorry, it's on my desk. Cook, yeah. And that is definitely the original inspiration, but has definitely changed quite a lot since it originally came out. So let me throw up some art on the stream. We have some familiar faces throughout Adventures Plus. Ooh. A lot of stuff from Adventure Paths, a lot of stuff from well, in this particular case, this is the Mosquito Witch from the Pathfinder Society adventure, starring the monster herself. Also in, oh gosh, which one is it? The Lost Omens book that has all the heroes and adventurers in it. It's slipped my mind.
Is this the one with the patron? Yeah, the patron for the witch has the Mosquito Witch. Yeah. Yes. That's horrifying. I don't think I knew what the Mosquito Witch looked like, but that's...
Well, there you go. She's definitely scary.
I would agree. It's horrifying.
I remember when I
do love...
Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry, I was going to say, I do love your... You do always bring a slightly different tone when you're trying to convey emotion, so I do love to see your art taking a spin at the horror thing, because Mosquito Witch looks pretty terrifying. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. The Mosquito Witch, I think it's one of the first horror things I ran in Pathfinder. And it's, to this day, I still think about, GMing a certain scene from it, which I'm not going to go into too much detail about, because everyone should play this thing for themselves. But I remember kind of doing a particular monologue that's in the adventure and coming out of it and going, whoa, what the hell happened? That wasn't me. That's like something else was reading through me in that. Anyway, horror mode. Do we want to talk about some of the mechanics of how this works?
Yeah, I'd say. Do you want me to dive into like maybe some of the overarching stuff, or do you
Sure.
how do you want to take it? Sure. So I think that the main takeaway that I have for horror mode is one thing that's really tough in tabletop role-playing games is to, especially in games like Pathfinder where you have heroic fantasy, is to make the players feel like they should be afraid and not to try to, run at things head on and try to murder it. And that's kind of the thing that I feel like you really kind of came at this with a great way to do that, to horrify people and to make them feel that fear, is the dread value system. So basically it kind of works like a condition where your dread value essentially widens the range of the natural 20 and the natural ones with respect to how they affect you. So when an enemy is trying to strike you, your dread value contributes to making it so that a natural 20, which normally upgrades a degree of success, making it, for most cases, a critical hit, that now can be 19 and 20, and 18 and 19 and 20. If you're absolutely filled to the brim with dread, I think right now it's 6. It goes all the way up to 16, but we might be relaxing it a little bit. It kind of depends. We're still tuning the exact limit on the ranges, but that spread change of making that degree of success one step better in the case of an attack against you, or if you're critically failing rolls in the same in the same way that you can critically fail a saving throw or a skill check or an attack roll like a grapple or something and end up on your butt. It can be pretty devastating to have this happen to you when you're playing inside of a quote a dread zone. And then I love what happens when you get too scared, and that's the scares system, which I love that you kind of came up with this idea of like, oh, okay, like how do we make it to where like these things happen when your fear gets too high, or when the dread is like you're Scooby-Dooing your way through a house, like you'll have this chance to undergo, like the lights go out or the door slams and locks, your torch breaks or something like that. And I feel like the scares that we came, that came up on the system design are just, they're pretty cool. They definitely help swing home that whole horror aspect. So what would you say is like where are you most excited to use this? If you were trying to like use this in a game, like where besides Mosquito Witch, if you got to pick something else, what do you think works the best?
I have kind of been playtesting it a little bit already in Season of Ghosts, which is the fact that it's the perfect, like, what great luck, right? But Season of Ghosts, I've already been playtesting a couple of things, and it's been so delightfully eerie, because what I really like about the horror mode rules is how quickly everything goes to shit. Like, you really will be like, yep, we're doing this, we're winning the battle, everything is fine, I'm not scared at all, right? And then you get that first failure, that first nat 2 instead of a nat 1, and then everything slowly becomes so much worse so quickly, and by the time that the player's like, hey, maybe we should be actually leaving, it's less that the characters are scared, because the characters were already going to be a little scared.
That's the part about it that I love, is that it's not, the characters don't even have to feel fear if they don't want to. They can react in other ways, but the player,
it's the player. The player is like, I don't like this, I actually feel we are in real danger here, if not of my character being killed, of something bad happening to their state of mind, because it's going to traumatize them. And that's been so fun to play around with. And also, what I love about it is, because of Dread Zone, it's not just, it's in combat, but it's when you're in a scary area, it is constantly on.
Yep.
So it creates this feeling of paranoia as they're exploring. So like, oh, a locked door, usually be like, it's a locked door. We'll just force it open and it doesn't matter how long it takes. It suddenly becomes a game of, we have to not fuck this up. We have to like stay and get this done quietly and efficiently. And you know, you roll a scare and then something bad happens. Like maybe the door opens and there's something on the other side, you know? And it really makes it feel naturally like a good horror movie. And I'm really pleased with how it's turned out.
I think you crushed it, and that is what it does. It kind of forces that normal strategy of let's brute force the problem, right? Like what the door, like we'll figure it out, right? But suddenly in horror mode, every check that you make is a risk. Mm-hmm. So now it's like you almost don't even want to be rolling that often. You want to be doing things like, you know, the thing about stride and step bar is they don't have any checks. Mm-hmm. You just use them, and sometimes running away can even be the answer to your problems in the horror system. So I really like that. Mm-hmm. But one thing that the playtesters pointed out to us was that theoretically, if you wanted to discourage that brute force approach, you could even try to take this system and abstract it for your own needs for something like a heist, right? Where instead of a scare, it's like a guard, you know, like here's a noise or something to that effect. But you know, you won't get that in Adventures Plus, but we are excited to see that people understand that the system has a good place to work from in terms of driving home consequences for performing risky actions. So, and I think honestly, like it's like one of those things where like it came out, it did its job, it's working pretty good at what it's gonna do, and I'm excited to see a couple more playtests. I know are coming for it. So. But yeah, so far so good.
Yeah, no, fun. Exactly. I have another piece of art that I can show off. Let's see it. So this is for the relationships subsystem.
Ooh, they're so cute.
So again, this is a little cameo from Adventure Pats. And also technically from a previous Team Plus product. So on the left we have Mariama from Strength of Thousands. Yep, exactly. Caught immediately. Everyone's favorite chaos magnet. And I don't mean that in I don't mean that in a rhetorical sense, as in she is quite literally a chaos witch, and I love her. And then on the right, this is one of my players' PCs, who is in Magus Plus as well. He's the masked Magus in that particular book. And the two of them had a romance in our playthrough of Stranded Thousands. So when I was asking, hey, who's the most romanceable NPC in Adventure Pats, when people reminded me that Stranded Thousands is basically a dating sim in wearing a Pathfinder AP as a mask, I was like, oh, right! Yeah, no, they super did romance all the NPCs in Stranded Thousands. So, here we go. Mariama. So let's talk a little bit about the about relationship rules, because I think that those are also really great.
Yeah, they are. In fact, I think the thing about relationships that is surprising but not surprising, I suppose, is really the only feedback we've kind of gotten on the system is that we want more boons. You know, like we want more ways to. So yeah, I guess let's start with explaining what a boon is. So basically, relationships, they work in a very similar paradigm with the way that the indifferent, the helpful, the friendly system works. But instead of like it working in a specific way with those rules, they kind of adapt those to have deeper meaning. And so you kind of like build your relationship with specific NPCs by giving them tokens, which is a token is like some way that you show your appreciation or affection for that PC. But rest assured, if you're not always wanting to romance, you know, let's say you're ace or like you have other aspirations besides, you know, a budding romance. We know everyone is a lot of people have a tendency to fall into the romance when it comes to relationships because they're fun. But if you don't like that, there's all kinds of different relationships that you can support. You can be a mentor, you can have you can be a squire, you can be like literally a patron, you can be, a business partner. So there's all kinds of different ways to engage with the relationship system, and the way that you show your affection to different NPCs is kind of different. But the payoff for like building that relationship with the NPC, we kind of give you mechanical incentives as well when you reach different tiers in the relationship. Kind of in the same way, you'll see a lot of similarities in the style of how you would gain a boon from your relationship into how you would gain like a boon from a deity. So like if you have a deity's favor, except they're not quite as impactful as the deity, like major boon or whatever. But like maybe you get a sweet treat on the way out the door that you can eat at some point in your journey that like heals you, or maybe you get access to a specific downtime activity when you're gone. Somebody does research for you and things like that. And we have ways to do relationships. This is the part that I think Michael Hosp did such a good job with. Is we have relationships where people stay home, back in town. The favor, like carry my scarf with you, type style relationship, and we have the hey, I'm traveling with you style relationship. So that kind of like the exact name of the relationship split is escaping me at this time, but it's kind of that passive and active style relationship where they're present or they're not present, and there's ways to facilitate both. So
I really think that they came out so well.
Really, yes.
Like absolutely incredible. I mean, I could say that about basically everything in the book. We're not going to go through everything in the book, of course. But I think relationships came out so well, and I know it's one a lot of people are excited for, because NPC Core did also have some sort of relationship rules, but it was a lot more abstract, and kind of like come up with it on your own almost, and that's very good for a lot of tables. But other tables want to get into the nitty gritty, and they want to have because like Strain of Thousands again, it did have not a precursor to this, but like there were rewards for befriending particular NPCs, and that was great. And this kind of lets you do that in any campaign, which I think is very, very appealing, especially if you are in a campaign where you are set in one location, like Abomination Vaults, Season of Ghosts. If you are in one town for a while, one of the big appealing factors to a game like that is that you get to form relationships with all these characters that your PC will be interacting with over and over again. And this rewards that role play in a very satisfying way. And I'm very pleased with how that came out.
Yep. And I think one thing it really helps is if your party just randomly adopts a goblin, like now you've got something you can do for this scenario, like, that you can kind of like build, sometimes some GMs don't have as easy a time just working right off the cuff. They're like, oh, well, I've taken an interest in so-and-so. How do I make this impactful? And hopefully this gives people the tools to try to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we'll keep it brief on underlings, bosses, and journeys, but like those three systems have been kind of a hotbed.
Oh my god!
And they've improved a lot. Like I'm pretty excited to see where they've led. Bosses have been incredibly popular. I would say that, and I don't know if I'll go back, to be honest. I don't. If I'm wanting to run a high level enemy that's supposed to be, like an end-all be-all for my campaign, or even like a mini boss between, cities or something like that. Yeah. I don't know if I'll go for the CL+4s anymore. It just doesn't really seem like it makes sense,
I am so in love with the boss system. The end of my Starfinder campaign, we ran a conversion of Fly Free or Die in 2nd edition, and the final boss, we used the boss rules, and my players were so in awe of it. They because it's the final bad guy, and I wanted it to really like have that ultimate villain feeling. And the way that it had worked was this particular one had the phase change ability, which is when you reduce it to a certain HP threshold, they power up. And when they were like, yeah, we've got this guy to half HP, this is great. Change the music, change the token, and seeing the villain go from, this arrogant drow, mafia member into the tattoos on his back turn into a nanite phoenix, and he's gone from a guy to an actual monster, and he's got all these new abilities. It really, really was so great for them. They were delighted with it. And we even got stuff later, which I think even fits that particular thing even more than phase change. I forget the one where it's one ability where the boss has something inside them that explodes out into a new form.
Oh, Spawn.
That's the one. That's the
one. Passive one. Yeah. That one's fun too.
That's so good. We didn't have it at the time, but I really, really love it. And there is a little bit of Lancer influence in there. The additional turn thing comes from Ultras in Lancer. And those were always one of my favorite parts of playing Lancer, was dropping someone with more turns than the PCs and having them go, oh no, this guy means business,
Yeah. And I mean, I did the same thing. I finished book 1 of a campaign over the summer, at the early part of the summer, with the boss rules as the final encounter, and I think the important thing is it feels good for the GM to play, because one thing about a CL4 that's kind of a little bit brutal as a GM is you're sitting there, and then the whole party takes their turn, because usually that's all the XP you have, unless you're running with the big party, and so you're kind of only taking actions once in a while. But with an overlord, you're not only are you getting to play the game more, but the players feel way better, because the way the bosses are structured, they don't have crazy high defenses like the CL4s, where everything is a failure. All of the checks are critical successes against their saves for their spells and stuff. So it feels more impactful for the players because they're not getting as many failures, but the boss is still incredibly dangerous because of its boss abilities and its extra turns. So.
And on that topic, at the same time, often in adventure paths, I found that because they try to avoid CL+4 bosses in most adventure paths, the bosses often feel so frail. While I was running Abomination Vaults, the way I ran it was the final boss also had a giant cave worm assisting them. And the cave worm certainly scared the hell out of them. As soon as they turned their attention to the boss, her HP started going down very fast, and I was like, oh no, that shouldn't happen. This is the final boss of the campaign. But they were, obviously they're not going to pull their punches at this point. They're like, this is the person we have to destroy. We've been doing this for 2 years now. We got to get him. So in if I were going back, being able to drop in the boss template on that, you can still have even the 2 boss stuff. I could still do the boss and the cave worm, for example, because there's an ability for that. It's just, I think generally such a fun system, and like you said, I don't know if I'll be able to go back. I could play in a game without essence casting. I'd be upset about it, but I could. But bosses, I'm the players can't stop me. I'm using these things.
Same. And honestly, the same goes for underlings too, because I'm just kind of we've kind of taken them a little bit more in the they're a threat that you need to deal with, in that you can use them individually with they kind of work a lot like minions in games like Daggerheart or in
4E?
Was it Draw Steel?
Yeah.
Yeah, and also and 4E. Yeah. I guess 4E should get the credit first, shouldn't they? They were
credit where credit is due. They did do it.
Yeah, but I think the thing that I loved where we kind of evolved on it was we got to the point where we were like, you know what, we need to make these feel a little bit different than troops. You know, they need to kind of feel impactful in that other way, and so we kind of came to the realization that sure you can use them individually, but one of the best ways to use them is with a genesis point. So basically where they spawn every turn and you need to kind of deal with whatever it is. And I think one of the examples that we saw in playtest is one of our playtesters had it to where there were gremlins that were underneath a bed, and the bed was the spawn point.
That's
and so a gremlin
good.
would pop out under the bed on every turn until they, dealt with the bed problem. And I think that that's a cool way to kind of put the pressures on the PC to like deal with this thing without actually, they're not at a threat until there's too many gremlins for them to deal with it. So I don't know how often I'll use underlings compared to bosses. Like I know I will never make a boss again, but it's nice to have that extra tool in the belt for underlings, just for that spawn, approach to getting them into the combat.
Yeah, I really do like it.
So, well, how do you feel? How are you feeling about? I as someone that ran Ruby Phoenix, which by the way, check out Dice Will Roll's podcast run of Ruby Phoenix. It's one of my favorite listens ever. I love the whole cast. It's an amazing run. But how do you feel as somebody that's run like Hexploration and stuff about journeys? Like, because I really love where we're arriving. There's one last big update I got to get to the team of the plus testers, but it's looking pretty good, especially if you like Slay the Spire.
I'm so pleased with how Journeys is coming out. We did a Journey in my Mythspeaker campaign, where I kind of took a little bit of Jason and the Argonauts, and I suppose the Odyssey, really. And
hot topic.
Yeah, hot topic. But we put them on a boat, and they had to sail to another island. And being able to make it, as written, it's on the way there's a storm, and you have to survive the storm. And that's fine. But being able to give the players that sort of agency of, okay, so we can see there are two paths here. One is longer, which means that there's chances of, stuff not going our way. But also the shortcut is right through what we believe to be kind of like stone spires that may be harpy nests, And that was so fun to be able to put that into players' hand, let them kind of like figure out how they wanted the story to kind of progress. And I really like it. I think Journey has been, I think it's the biggest subsystem by quite a lot.
No, yeah, it is quite large, and it's been and Jelly did such a good job with giving us, basically a really and crafted, been played for almost, I want to say like a year. Jelly been running this, and several other people I know. Lex Chan also has done a lot of work with Journey, so we've gotten a lot of incredible feedback on how they run, and it's like I want to say 11K words right now. I'm hoping to chop it down just a smidge. 1.5 years. There's the actual number. I'm hoping to chop down the travel section just a smidge so that we get it a little more concise and approach, because I think that's one place we can improve. But yeah, it's been incredible, and I'm running it now too. It's funny. I feel like a lot of them have been boats, but in playtest, like I'm running it on a boat as well. But in playtest, it's been a lot of through the river or through the woods and over the river type of stuff, and it's been cool to see how those systems have been developed and all the different ways that they're approaching travel. So it's I don't know. I'm excited to get it out in front of people and see if it helps GMs that are trying to make those, those Odyssey-like journeys, or even just the journey to the next town feel a little more interesting than just roll a d12. Did you find anything on the way? Type of deal.
I feel
or a planned event.
We were gonna, in our playthrough of Abomination Vaults, we had a part where we went to Absalom, and I did do some, like, this was way before Journeys, but like I did do some stuff like, roll for this, roll for that, what's happening, and that was fine. But if we had that kind of like robust framework that would have, let the journey to Absalom feel that much more alive, That would have been fantastic. Yeah. You know, that could have been a session in itself, just the road to Absalom, you know? And I really do think it's fantastic. And are we allowed to talk about the cheat sheet, or is that still...
No, that will be happening. So we're probably going to be doing a, you know, Derry and I are both huge on accessibility, especially for people who are neurodivergent, and it's just become very clear to us that having some kind of aid for the table for if you're playing on a journey as a player, that you have something for yourself. So that way you know what your endurance is, which is what you use to use activities while traveling, but also to see the approaches that you can take, what kind of surveying you can do, maybe like some kind of tracking, you know, for that. We're still working out the details on the aid. We want to make sure it works for everybody, but yeah, that is coming. We will have it with the book. That is the plan.
Yeah, I'm very excited. It's going to be great. Journeys is fantastic. Like I said, everything in the book is fantastic. We're not touching on like dynamic encounters or heroic fates, which like I said, we're not touching on it. I love it. It's going to be so great.
Right.
When they come out, I think people are really going to love them as well. But just going off like the big things I've seen, like people on the outside be excited about, bosses, journey, everything. It's really pleased with it. It's a really good, solid book.
Well, we brought something for the players too, right?
Yeah, like, we have something.
We gave them 2 pretty good nuggets.
Yeah,
you know?
I think they'll be pleased with it, but let's open up some art. The Trickster class. So this is not the iconic Trickster. This is a Patreon character, but I mean, I just haven't had a chance to design the iconic yet, but this really sells the idea, I think, of what a Trickster can do and be, you know?
Yes.
Like, if I were to show you that outside of, knowing that's for the Trickster class, you can't really do anything that feels like this exactly. Maybe like a Magus, if you were kind of like twisting stuff around. But
yeah, Shadow maybe, or like a rogue with an archetype, you know, like you can get nothing.
Yes, and this really plays into a character archetype, which at the moment Pathfinder can serve, but not perfectly. And I'm just so enamored by the Trickster. I think Trickster is just an absolute success so far. I'm really pleased with it.
And that's the feedback we've gotten too as well. I mean, I think Trickster came out and people were already on board immediately from day one with everything it was doing. Not that Vessel didn't get also positive feedback, but people got it. They saw it and they were like, yes. They were like, that's what we wanted right there. Yes, that hit the spot.
I mean, it's such a fun gameplay loop as well. And we'll talk about like the details in a second, but like the Trickster, we got it in one, I feel.
Yeah.
But yeah, let me open up some stuff about the Trickster so that we can read it out. Where is it this one? Where are my tabs? Hold on. Trickster! Okay, here we go. Nope, this is wrong. Wrong file. Oopsie. Hold on. I was thinking, I don't think this is a Word doc. Okay, is it this one? I think it is. Take 2. I got in one, guys. Come on. Here we go. Okay. With a sly smile and a subtly cast spell, you thrive in deceit, fabrications, and one-upmanship. You keep your mind sharp and your tongue sharper, knowing that for every problem, 1,000 unorthodox solutions exist. While your detractors may call your methods unfair, dishonorable, or even ludicrous, you know that at the end of the day, the results speak for themselves. So, the Trickster is a charisma-based spellcasting class. It was originally envisioned to be a bound caster. Then we got Impossible Magic early, and we lied to the plus testers' faces and said it would continue to be bound caster. But we were designing it with the 2-slot casting in mind.
Yep.
It is such a fun class. The way that its gameplay loop kind of works. Well, do you want to take? Because you've been the one who's kind of like guided the mechanical aspect, and it's really good.
To be fair, I feel like Waylay and Waylay is, I think, the core element of the class that kind of carries a lot of it. And Waylay was your baby, but it has we've kind of worked the accoutrement around the plate to support Waylay. But basically, the loop chat, the way it works is you're a trickster, and you want to get somebody off their guard. You want to get them in a state to where you can use your reaction strike that triggers when somebody fails their save, when they become off guard to you, or you trigger them with one of your clever knacks, which I will go into the clever knacks and a little bit about them later, but they're essentially like skill-based activity triggers. So when that trigger happens, so when somebody fails a save against one of your spells, you get an opportunity to essentially stab that person in the back. And that strike is not subject to things like multiple attack penalty. It does use your normal strike modifier, but it does your charisma to damage. So you're still a charisma at heart focused trickster, and you're trying to get your opponent in a bad place so that you can stab them. And then when you make strikes successfully against targets that you triggered with Waylay or that are off guard to you or one of your mischievous knacks, they become duped, which means that they are off. That you've tricked them and you have got them under your I guess, I don't know. They're duped is the closest. They're misled. They feel off their game. And duped is a new you got them. Duped is a new condition for the trickster can apply.
I didn't think we had one of those before. Hi guys, welcome aboard.
Hi Raiders, welcome.
As you were, I apologize.
So when shoot, I lost my entire.
It was the trickster, cunning waylay.
Yes, cunning waylay. So once you make the target duped, they become more susceptible to essentially like will saves and mental effects, and you also get additional benefits against targets that are duped based on your ruse and your modus operandi. So tricksters are a little bit they're not as heavily defensive. They're going to be a light armor class, but they get a modus operandi, which is kind of a circumstance bonus to AC when they have their opponent under certain effects. And then each ruse has kind of its own focus spell and list of. I love the name. Derek, can you tell the people the name for the spell granting?
The bag of tricks.
I do love that. You kind of got it. The bag of tricks, which is so fun.
I was trying to figure out like a way to kind of describe it. Like, when a magician goes onto stage, he knows his set list of tricks is going to be. And I was trying to get that idea across that these are spells that, if you are a trickster, these are what you're using to pull your scams, Like,
right.
Just pulling up some random one. Swindler, for example. Which is an arcane one that's all about just making money. You don't care about honor. You don't care about pride. You care about fat stacks of coin. And the spells are all very much so about kind of like fast talking, kind of Saul Goodman, Swindle from Transformers, if you've ever watched it. I think Transformers Animated was a big inspiration for it, this one. And a lot of the spells you've got like charitable urge, give me some money. Honeyed words to kind of like make yourself really, really easy to like. Contingency, always have a backup plan for when they catch wise that you have kind of been like talking out your ass. A lot of stuff like that,
Or if you need to move to Iowa and run a Cinnabon, right? Like that's
exactly.
Spell, right?
Contingency, dimension door, I'm out.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
Oh, actually, straight up, they get disappearance. It is exactly that.
That's amazing. Yeah, and I love the mockery spells, which is your focus spells that you use to target your duped creatures. So once you've got them truly, like running circles around them, then you can add insult to injury, which is actually I forgot one of the name of one of the mechanics. So that they get for applying the dupe condition. So I'm excited to see it. It's been getting pretty good reception in terms of how it plays. And I'll touch on Clever Dax real quick because I did say I would come to them. We didn't want to do quite what Swashbuckler was doing with skills and skill feats, and we didn't really want to do exactly what Rogue was doing with skills and skill feats, or even Investigator. But we did recognize that there is, the Trickster's got to be a skill class, and we got to figure out the best way to negotiate that. So essentially, they do get skill increases and skill feats a little faster through something called a Clever Knack, which is where you get a skill increase and a skill feat associated with a particular skill. And then you get a new trigger for your Cunning Waylay. So essentially, like, I think one of the ones... Shoot, let me look at one instead of guessing. Let me find one of the trained Clever Knacks. So let's do Fast Talker. We talked about Swindler, so this one. So Fast Talker is you pick it at level. You can pick this at level 1. You become trained in diplomacy. You gain Bon Mot as a skill feat. The Cunning Waylay trigger is when a creature uses an action with the linguistic trait, which, if you give somebody a Bon Mot, typically they have to respond with an action with a linguistic trait. And then you get a Duped Mischief, which is where you get to kind of like subvert some rule that normally would apply to you when a target is duped. And in this case, it's even if the creature doesn't share, you don't share a language with the creature. As long as they speak a language, you can target them with with linguistic actions if they are duped. And so there's a bunch of Clever Knacks that are going to work like that, and be for higher proficiency Clever Knacks, so you can get the expert ones and the master and the legendaries as well. But that was kind of the vision we saw for the skills, and it helps marry the rest of their kit. So that's the last on the Clever Knacks, and I think honestly we've shared a lot about Trickster, and I don't want to sleep on Vessel, because I think Vessel is the one you kind of. The way you came at it with the frustrated condition and with personas and shadows, I mean, I was just like, yes, like this is exactly what we needed to be doing.
I am so pleased with the Vessel. Here, we've got some art, and this is the iconic Vessel. And the idea that I have kind of for this character is that they are an academic. I think, studying something or other. And maybe found a mysterious book somewhere that they shouldn't have been. And when they were reading, they, very foolishly, Evil Dead style, read out loud what they were seeing, and that invited a fiend into their body. And now that fiend is looking for every opportunity to get out and cause mayhem. But they have been resorting to, using some alchemical potions to kind of keep it down. Stop bothering me. I'm trying to continue being an academic. But every once in a while, it gets really helpful to just let the big guy out,
when you're in danger.
Exactly. Like, if you're getting mugged, fine, you can have these guys. So Vessel is very much so kind of like our Hulk class. The idea of having... Well, hold on. Let me read it, because I have it here in front of me.
Oh, right. Well, please.
Let's see. Vessel. Something terrible resides within you. In moments of weakness, you allow the shadow in your heart to emerge, a terrible monstrosity that wreaks havoc on those that oppose it. You have tried to keep it at bay, find ways to hold back the darkness within you. But when you can't, you can physically transform into a terrible creature that can only be sated with blood. It is a very, very, very cool class. And I also want to say, just right out the gate, because, it is, whenever I see something like this, the immediate thing that comes up, because I have friends with DID, is how respectful it's going to be. Because, you know, when you start playing with anything that's even vaguely in the territory of multiple personalities, you know, you don't want to be making split. You know, you don't want to make something extremely, extremely offensive. But like I said, a lot of my friends have DID. Like, actually, yeah, one of my games, there are 3 people with DID in it. It's just kind of we all kind of clumped up into one place. Anyway, point is, we will be having like a sensitivity reading by the person who did sensitivity reading for me on Safe Haven, who is also someone who you know, is plural. So, you know, just getting that up front is that the team of there are multiple guys in me always it sometimes teeters close to demonizing real mental health stuff. That is not what we're going here. We're going for more a actual Mr. Hyde approach, which is you know, sometimes that this is just who you are, you know. It might not be that there is an actual monster inside you. It might just be that this is how stuff manifests within you. Like, there's one person, one of the patrons, it's the art piece I'm working on right now, has a celestial vessel. And the way that character works is that when they unleash the beast, as it were, it's kind of like the divine fury of their god coming through them and transforming them into a seraphim, you know? Which is very cool. And there are many ways to play it. Yes, you can do stuff like, you know, the Hulk, but you can do other stuff more like werewolves. Yeah, Sukuna, exactly. I mean, Fiend has a bit of...
Who was the one from like Fire Emblem that I forget? Where we played the clip and they refer to themselves as the vessel, and we were like, "Oh wow, that's perfect."
Yeah. The dragon, which, you know, again, maybe not. We're still figuring out. We have like one last subclass we need to fill out, and we're still figuring out what to do there. Because there's a lot of different things we can do. But do you want to talk about the mechanics? Because I think
sure, yeah.
This has come such a long way, and it's really nice where it is now.
It did, and I think one thing about it is there were some things that people immediately liked, and then there were some observations that the plus testers rightfully had to kind of get us on the right track. And the big observation from the jump was that the persona side of the house needed to feel more full, so that there was this ebb and flow between you being your persona and you being, you know, your shadow, and when how to juggle those two aspects of your person. So basically, the persona is, I would describe it to plus testers probably already have a pretty good idea based on what they've seen, but it's kind of similar to a doctrine, but specifically to reflect like almost like a motif or a class structure that's similar to another class. So academic, for instance, is kind of echoing that alchemist flavor, that, you know, that Green Goblin, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, even potentially Bruce Banner is a good example of that, where like that experimentation layer of it is what, you know, you've used to try to like contain the beast within you. But then we also have like Wanderer, which is, you know, somebody brought up Sukuna, like Yuji would probably fall under the Wanderer for those that know the First Law trilogy. I would feel like Logan, you know, Logan Nine Fingers, you know, the Bloody Nine, that's a good vessel for Wanderer. And then we have of course some of the caster ones that we're looking at, like the Ascetic, which is kind of like the occult divine caster. And then we're working on I think we do have one more over right now, but it is escaping me at the moment. But I know those 3 are there. Yeah. I can't remember if we did turn over the 4th one yet.
I don't think we have yet, but it's on the agenda.
It is on the agenda. But the idea is that over the course of the combat, when you take damage, that exceeds a certain amount. So don't worry, if you get hit with a rock, you're not immediately going to go Hulk mode to smash the kid. But if you are in combat and you get struck, you're going to become frustrated, which is a new condition for Vessel, where you become frustrated 1, 2, 3, and then capping out at frustrated 4, where things get pretty dire if you get quite that high. But then in your persona form, you get kind of special actions that make you more frustrated when you use them. And so the idea is that you're kind of battling against this frustration to keep the vessel from getting out of control. But when you do turn over to Vessel, you kind of have to play this, don't let it get too bad for my compatriots, because you're a bit dangerous to your allies if you don't place yourself in the right space. And you don't try to quell the anger within you each turn. So it's kind of this juggling. If you like high concept martials, I would say if you're a Runesmith fan, if you're a Commander fan, like I think Vessel will be able to satisfy some of your, if you really want to smash things, like this is the smash things but with extra steps I think approach. But I do love how I think Fiend, Celestial's obviously coming, plus Esters have not gotten to see it yet, sorry fam. But I think Fiend has come over. We've already done forgive me, I think Beast we did decide to cut a Beast. Yes, Beast is I think Beast is kind of the big popular one because everybody thinks werewolf, right? You know, so you got that's an obvious one, but then there's plenty of other examples of the beast within you awakening. And it hits that niche pretty well. So I mean, what would you say is your favorite parts of Vessel so far in terms of mechanics?
I really like the duality feats.
That's true, I forgot. Oh man,
duality feats are such a fun mechanic because like you said earlier, one of the things we realized was we had to make the persona interesting, because why would you ever be a persona and invest into persona stuff if the vessel, the shadow, is the combat one? We didn't want to just be barbarian where, I'm in combat now, time to go monster mode. We wanted to make it so that you could invest into the persona. But Pathfinder is a combat game, and you are usually going to invest into the combat side, so not persona. So the way that we kind of got around this was to make duality feats, which are feats that have a different benefit depending on what mode you're in. Like, for example, let me pull one up. There's Gruesome Kills. Your shadow has become adept at mangling foes, leaving the persona desensitized to violence. So the persona's version of it has numb to violence. You've seen your own hands tear into foes so often that you no longer feel the horror you once felt doing it. When a creature dies within the area of your vessel's presence, which is, just near you, while you're in your persona form, you gain temporary hit points equal to your level for 1 minute. So, with our scared little academic earlier, they might see someone get their head cut off, and they might go like, oh, yeah, great, awesome, okay, I'm just going to power through this. Meanwhile, the shadow gets rip and tear. Your kills are upsettingly violent. When you reduce a creature to 0 hit points or critically succeed in a melee strike, creatures in the area of your vessel's presence must make a will save or become frightened 1 or frightened 2 on a critical failure. So, again, if our academic has beasted out into the Fiend, they might kill someone, or, just land a devastatingly strong attack, and everyone nearby who's, seeing this is going, huh, because of how scary your shadow has gotten at finishing people off. And that's just one example. There's, quite a few of these duality feats, but they came out so nice, and it's a really fun way. I remember when Summoners Plus was coming out, it was something I briefly thought about, but I was like, I don't know if this is going to be... Because that was something I remember when one of my players was playing Summoner, was that I'm never going to buff my caster, I'm just going to make my Eidolon stronger. And I remember thinking, oh, nuts? That's not. That's it'd be nice to find some way to get around that. And I had an idea similar to duality, and ended up not panning out. So it's really nice to see duality kind of working out here in the vessel. I think it's really fits.
Yeah, and luckily the way that we have vessel designed, it's not a. I think maybe the reason you probably walked away from it on Summer is because the budget. It was like we're basically just giving 2 feats, which is. We don't have that problem with the duality feats on Vessel because you can never be using them both at the same time.
Exactly.
So you're getting one or the other. It just depends. And given that your access to Shadow Form is under a pretty strict regimen of trying to keep your breakfast down, I think we got away with it there. And you talked about one mechanic in that feat that I think maybe I owe chat a little bit of insight in. So
sure.
Vessel's present is that double-edged sword that you're going to be juggling when you're in shadow form, and also it's going to be contingent for some of your aiding and assistive abilities when you're in persona form. So it depends on how frustrated you are, how big the aura. But in Vessels, in shadow form, your aura is kind of like a big scary thing. So when you let loose and let your aura run wild instead of trying to contain it, you affect everybody within your aura. So you want to keep your allies away, but you can always try to keep your aura contained so you keep your allies safe. It's kind of a decision that you get to make as a shadow form. If your persona can keep your shadow from killing your friends, and you're not frustrated you've let it get too far. But I'm really excited. I think duality is like, honestly, that was one where like once I think there was another one where we were in a sesh and we just started talking about it, and then we were like, you might have even brought up, it would be nice if you could do both at the same time. And then I was like,
what if?
I was like, wait a minute, can we do both at the same time? And then it was just, it was like, oh yeah, this is the answer. This is how we get it done. So.
I'm very pleased with it. I think Vessel is, like you said, it is very high concept.
Sure.
But it delivers that class fantasy in such a fun way, because you could just be playing a barbarian, but you're not going to be able to like really delve into that internal struggle,
Yes.
Like a barbarian werewolf. Yeah, I start raging and I turn into a wolf. And that's great in itself. But a vessel werewolf, you now have a lot more complex teams, your relationship with your own brutality, the fact that you can actually do stuff while you're not a monster, it's very fun.
And I think the one thing that we came at it that really helps separate it from other martials is you can pair different personas with different vessels. So you can be the like, okay, I'm gonna be the academic with like the alchemy kind of like support side when I'm in combat as an alchemist, but then I can be a beast or I could be a fiend alchemist, combination, and that kind of changes the dynamic of the vessel as a whole just by doing these individual pairings. And of course the barbarian's not going to be doing a whole lot of alchemy, right? Like, at least unless I guess you have barbarians plus, in which case they're using the one that does allow that. But in general, if you're on Paizo, it's great,
I think Vessel is such a fun class, and really, as I've been doing the art for it, especially seeing different people's, this is what I would convert into a Vessel characters, seeing the different ways you can play with the idea of transformation is so fun. I'm really pleased with it. I'm really happy with how it's turned out.
It's funny because it's like before we really started working on the class, I feel like I didn't really think about this concept that much. But then since then, I feel like I'm seeing vessels everywhere. Like in media, I was like, oh wow, yeah, I guess they would be a vessel. Like I just never thought about it, right? It's like Venom or other random, you're like, oh yeah, I guess that would be a vessel. It's just an interesting thing, especially. So what we had a question in chat: do we have an ETA for vessel? Because I have an angelic sorcerer with living vessel archetype representing a demon, and I very much would like to lean into that. First of all, love that concept. That sounds really cool. But the hope is we are rapidly approaching the end of Adventures Plus development slash plus test cycle. Like we're actively collecting the last few pieces and updates for things. So I would love to tell you next month. I think our goal is August. We're shooting for August. That is our plan. So hopefully you won't have to wait too long. So I don't know how quickly you can convert it, but I will tell you, Foundry is going to be a minute. This is a big book. Like, but poor Vox is going to be put through the ringer, but Vox is the best, so I have faith.
Everyone say thank you, Vox.
Everyone say thank you, Vox.
But generally, it's going to be great. Adventures Plus is such a fun book, and I'm really excited to see us, put it out. And also to just start doing some new stuff, because we've been doing this now for about a year. So being able to say, yep, this is out there. We can now properly let people see the rule. Because we've been using a lot of these rules already at home. So being able to be like, yep, here we go. This is what we've been using already now for a while. It'll be nice, I'm excited to share all that work with the world and to start writing some new stuff, because it's been a while since we've done a vote.
Yeah, I'm excited to do it, and I know a lot of people have said that Psychics is looking like it may get the vote next, but hey, there's always hope. Maybe one of the other ones can come in. I like Psychics, a lot. I won't be sad to see it, but it's almost like I don't want to be robbed of the possibility of anything. So
yeah, no, I don't want it to be a foregone conclusion, because I'd be happy to work on anything. I think Alchemist for a long time was that.
That was our biggest fear.
That was the mountain that we had to climb.
Yeah, and we're past it.
We did it, and it was great. Right? We actually really enjoyed doing it. So now it's like, well, wherever we go now, it'll be really great. But I know Investigator is one that's, it's less of a mountain and more shadowy figure standing at every crossroad, just watching from the distance. Because I'm sure
we'll tough ones that we get,
but I'd be excited to do Investigators at this point. I think because we spent so long knowing it's coming at some point, that by now I've had so many ideas for it, I'm not intimidated by it anymore. But beyond that, Psychic, I feel, it's definitely the hot topic, right? When the Wizards remaster happened, and everyone was like, the Wizard is the worst class to ever exist. And, now that, I feel we've come far enough to be like, I don't actually think the remaster Wizard's bad at all. I actually really do like the way it is.
I think it's in a good spot. It's hard to argue with 4 slots,
Yeah.
4 slots.
It's kind of like giving someone a shotgun and being like, win this fight. Like, yep, no problem.
He's like, yeah, he's not good from 100 yards, but don't get close to him. But yeah, I think my only fear is probably out of the way. Clerics, Alchemists, and then Shoots. There was one other one that was a little tough for me, but I feel like those were my 2. Oh my gosh, how am I going to do this type of thing? I think if you guys give us Animus, I will probably cry about that. That one would be tough for me.
You know what? I'd be delighted to do Animus. I love the Animus class.
That always, at least one of us is into it. You need to have one of us that's like, okay, this is my shit. So
I like Animus a lot. I feel like Ranger would be a little tough to do, just because I feel like the edges are sometimes it's kind of hard to figure out a good way to do it. But honestly, I feel like at the same time, it would more be at that point kind of. I suppose that is something, is when the Slayer comes out, people are probably going to want Rangers Plus more at that point. Because, well, I don't know how they're going to do the Slayer, but the playtest, a lot of people were like, wow, this is just better Ranger. So I'm sure Ranger will probably be on our list within the next year or 2.
Yeah. And I like Ranger too. But I do think, Leon in chat, when I made a Ranger book, I just made 0 edges. Honestly, not unwise. I don't think we're going to get that lucky. I think we would probably be heckled if we did not put in any new edges. Even if we don't put very many, I don't think we're going to get away with 0. So,
yeah.
but it'll be tricky. The ion for that one will also be a test, but I think we can do it.
Yeah.
I think we can do it.
Sure, you could swap out Hunt Prey for something. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
That's probably where it's headed,
Yeah.
but we'd have to see where we land, you know?
And then for the next Core Plus stuff, God, who knows?
Oh, yeah. Not a lick of a clue. I guess we should do that vote at the same time. That's
definitely.
True. We would give fall votes. So be thinking
feel,
about next.
Yeah.
So what would even make the Core Plus?
Well, Ancestries has always been on our list, and now after Galactic Ancestries, which we both wrote on, and I don't think I told you, Tony. I ran a Starfinder adventure, just a one-shot a little while ago, and someone went and played an android, and they're like, "Wow, I love this electronica android stuff. That's amazing!" And I was like, "I know who did that."
Yay! That's so good.
But yeah, no, it was like stray bullet of praise, you know. But now that we've done Ancestries Plus, I feel the desire for a Galactic Ancestries for Pathfinder is now in the air. But also, I don't know. I feel like we would be asked to make a new Ancestries, but seeing with like all the crazy shots Paizo has been taking with new Ancestries, I'm like, because like I would have been like, oh yeah, maybe a Gargoyle Ancestry, and they're doing that, so I'm like, oh god, how do we predict what to make?
Yeah, I think the new one will be I think we normally figure out a way to find, because I thought Vessel was going to be hard, but man, I feel like we found a place for a Marshal to live that was very unique. So I think we can handle the new one. Well, maybe I should say back. I think you can come up with some cool idea, and then we can make it work. I know
we for a while we considered having I suppose like a magic version of Leshy in Magic Plus. I forget the name we had. That was something we were, kind of like a Calcifer style thing.
Yes. Oh shoot. Yeah. Ooh, you had a good name for it too.
I'm forgetting it. I feel like that's one that I don't necessarily think Paizo will be making anytime soon. So that's maybe a fun shot. But like, if nothing else, just making a bunch of high-level Ancestry feats for Ancestries that don't have them is, I'm sure, enough to sell some people. But beyond Ancestries, what else is there?
We had, I think Combat Plus has been on the Horror Plus has been on there, but it's very divisive. It's always like the people that want it first, it's like first, and then the people that want it last, it's like last.
That was it for Mythic Plus as well. That's another one.
Yes.
Mythic Plus had some diehard fans and some diehard haters. And as someone who is now, I remember when Mythic came out, I was like, guys, it's not that bad. Now that I'm running it in mid-speaker, I'm like, oh god, there's only 2 feats at level 1? Oh god! I have a party of 5 players! But at the same time, it is a fairly niche subsystem. Not everyone's going to be playing it. So I don't know. I don't know if Mythic Plus will... Because what I'm thinking of is, like, in future Path Plus stuff, maybe we can throw a few of the more niche Core Plus options.
Absolutely. I think that honestly that's worked out really well for the horror. For those of you that were looking at the Patreon this year it's horror themed, and there's some good stuff in there. I mean, shoot, you did one recently that I was like, I know found footage thaumaturge is on there, and that one is really fun.
Yeah.
So I love that. But I mean, I guess we could do one. We did the Starfinder one, but we could a Mythic year would be still cool.
Mythic, I feel like there could be a lot of cool stuff with a Mythic year.
For sure.
But then it just raises the question of what else are we going to put on our Core Plus vote? Because we've done feats, we've done archetypes. God, I don't know. We're gonna
content.
We could do Magic Plus 2.
Magic Plus 2. Yeah, I mean, in chat, if you've got ideas, like feel free to throw them here. We'll try to look through them.
Well, it'll probably be at least a month or two before we get to the vote, because we have to finish. We have to finish Adventures Plus, but yeah, I guess we'll be getting back to the voting stuff pretty soon, which is really exciting.
I can't wait. And speaking of like books in general on Pathfinder Infinite, we're getting pretty excited, and we're here to give you an announcement today for everybody, for all of Fam Plus, for anybody outside of Fam Plus that has ignored our little cult and might consider joining for our little fun escapades. Derry, would you like to tell us what it is that we're going to announce today that's starting very soon?
Well, everyone, the dragon is hungry. We are going to be starting Tourney of the Tatzelworm finally very, very soon, right?
That's right, August 3rd. So right after GenCon. I hope you brewers are ready. So that you can prepare for the Tourney of the Tatzelworm.
So that's going to be a competition. Just to remind people who weren't here for our last stream a hot minute ago, it is going to be a competition where we are going to be allowing people to... Oh God, I've opened up the wrong thing. Hold on. Here we go. You're back. It wasn't my DMs, it was the announcement channel. Tourney of the Tatzelworm is going to be a competition where oh God, the moon is like super full and glaring into my eye. Jesus. Anyway, sorry. Yes, it is going to be a competition where we invite everyone, Team Plus fans and non-Team Plus fans, both amateur and professional, to come and write draconic-themed options. And the winners will be put into a book, fully illustrated, like a full proper book. And there will be some money for the people who win, right? Am I wrong? Oh God, I hope not.
Yeah, no, so okay. We're going to be well, I mean by proxy of when the book launches, they get their cuts for sale.
Yes, for sure.
Basically, we're going to be Team Plus will be handling all the production. We'll be making the PDF. We'll be getting it Foundry support. We'll be getting all of the layout done for it. All of the mechanical editing passes I will be handled by Derry and me, yours truly, to get everything in the narrative mechanical state to go launched and live. And everybody who wins in the competition that places in the requisite spots, I would say reference the rules. We're letting our very awesome and gracious moderation team handle most of the tournament. And we have some excellent judges on deck. I think it was like 15 or 16 judges of, that have either been published by Paizo, have a very prominent channel or media that they use to promote. So people that are extremely acquainted with the game and understand all of the different elements and ways to build Pathfinder mechanics, feats, abilities, etc., anything related to dragons. So we're very excited, and Derry and I will be reviewing those of you that fall into, quote, the professional tier. So we've gotten a lot of questions about the professional tier, so I will just explain. If you qualify for, you must submit to the professional tier for the tournament if you have been published or will be published, for those of you under NDA. And in which case, send us a message to get your role, sorted out on the Team Plus Discord in a hardcover book. That is a hardcover book. So if you've ever been in a Paizo book of any kind as a accredited author, you cannot submit. Also, for those of you that are judges, if you are judging the tournament, which applies to any of my moderation team and the judges that we have in channel that will be reviewing content, you also must submit to the professionals. Yes, Battlezoo does count. So those of you that have already won a copper or higher badge for a Battlezoo bestiary, you must submit to the professional tier, and I wish you luck. Godspeed to everybody. But yeah, we're excited to see what everybody does, and I think it's going to be a cool book, and winners will of course get a royalty cut for that book. So every time it sells, you'll get a cha-ching in your bank account for it based on how much of the total book you're responsible for. I think we have the exact numbers worked out in chat, which will of course, if anybody has any questions, about the tournament, we can detail it a little bit better. But it should be on that rules document, I think. If not, we will definitely get those details. But this will be going up on Pathfinder Infinite, so that's where it will go. So that means that you all will have access to everything in Galorian when it comes to the lore, which is a very important distinction. It also means that you cannot use anything in the OGL, so please don't send us any beholders or anything like that are, like no Tiamat pendants or anything like that. Be mindful of that, and try to stick to things under the Pathfinder Infinite license. So if you have any questions about how any of this works, I know that the moderation team has already started setting up channels for discussion and for working out, asking questions to the moderation team about how the tournament's going to work. We're prepared to field those questions. So what I can tell everybody today is, even though you all cannot submit today, because obviously we need to wait until the jump off point of August 3rd, I would say that if you do want to go ahead and get your user created on the Team Plus website, you're going to want to go here and you're going to want to register. So I've put that link in chat. It is theteamplus.us/wp-login.php for those of you familiar with WordPress. It is a WordPress login site. So go ahead and get your user created. And then on August 3rd, when you're ready to jump in and kind of use the builder that we have, which for those of you that are familiar with Scribe, you're going to be able to build your character on the page much the same way you would build it with Scribe. There is a markdown example with every tournament submission. Right now, that link seems to be censored. That's unfortunate.
Well, we'll be sharing it in our Discord and everything as well.
Let me see if I can get a better... Okay. Let me try this one. Hopefully that's better for you. But yeah, I think the key is that we're trying to make it as accessible as possible for everybody to submit to the Team Plus website with their dragon-based submissions. I would say definitely read the rules. I've tried to cover a decent portion of them, but I believe you want to look to keep it between 500 and 1,500 words. And the editor that you're going to be using will tell you your word count and keep you honest. So be sure to try to interact with that. And if you have any questions, please reach out to the mod team. We're very excited to see what the Brewers and everybody in Fan Plus is capable of creating, and we hope we get a lot of participation, because I think that Derry's art for some of the winners in this submission is going to be incredible, and I can't wait to see people being able to use options that they created in their Foundry games, in their Path Builder tables, that type of thing. So
it's going to be really awesome.
Very exciting. Very exciting. Very exciting. Hopefully this tournament goes well. This won't be the last one. So, and let us know what we're getting right. Keep in mind, it's the first time we're doing it. Give us a little bit of a break. We think we're doing a good job here, but we can always improve for next year. So feedback appreciated for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So, do we want to do some Q&A before we wrap up?
That makes sense to me.
Okay.
Definitely.
Well, everyone, throw us some questions, and we'll answer a couple before we wrap up for tonight. And like we said, we are going to have Adventures Plus out ideally in August. We'll see how fast stuff comes out, but everything is kind of wrapping up now. It's mostly just polishing what we already have, and then you guys are going to get an awesome book. So I'm really excited. Now, let's see. Any questions?
Leon, next question.
Okay. Yig is not a question, but I do love it. I love a good yig.
Did it censor yours? Yes, Jelly, because I don't think I see it. So we may have to figure out something if we can't post the link in chat to register. Maybe something on server news. Apologies, everybody. We'd like to give you the link to register. You can try going to the website directly and doing that, or we can maybe post a link in a blog post so that people can register there. Something for us to figure out to get you guys the link. No worries.
So
any kineticist content in the works?
Yes,
my favorite.
In Path Plus. And then we very quickly realized, oh wow, kineticist is hard to make content for. I think actually, I think that is probably the only other mountain class we have to worry about, because if we make Kineticist Plus, we're gonna have to make a new element, and elements are fucking huge.
They are. Luckily, as far as subclasses go, they're I mean, they take a lot of space. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be a lot of feats that have to go into supporting that.
But we do have some content for them in Paths Plus. I think in Primal Power, we have some Kineticist stuff, which was all about, gosh, that one was, I think about not the weather cycle. It was the, was it the rain cycle? Gosh. Or
you did composites.
Yeah, it was a bunch of composite feats.
Earth and water was like one of the ones that I remember. See, you know, Derry and I read so much stuff, it is hard to remember everything we wrote. So
yeah. But yes, there is some, not like a whole amount. I don't expect an entire element or anything. But yes, we do have a little bit of Kineticist content in the future. Hopefully within next 6 months, maybe. I didn't know when we're going to get the Paths Plus stuff out, but I'd like to have it before the year ends.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably the goal as well. And for those of you that are like constantly in Team Plus chat or whatever saying like, when are you going to be able to do this Plus book? We do try to touch on the Patreon on the classes that we are not going to get to for like a bit because they haven't been supported by us, or we just, you know, they're lacking in votes or whatever, just to make sure that those people that are looking for things like Kineticist Advance or Kineticist elements and such, that they get a taste. So.
Any other questions? Because we can wrap up otherwise if we don't have any.
We had a pretty good, pretty good run. We covered a lot of topics.
Talked a whole lot. But I'm just going to leave the floor open for a few more seconds before I start being like, okay, nice work, everyone. But yeah.
Yeah, we can let it to 9 p.m. We give them till 9. Right?
Yeah, give them 3 minutes. We can blabber until then. Let's see. Oh, what category would PFI authors go into for this?
So PFI, because even those of you that may have possibly gone for the print on demand, unless you were in a hardcover book, PFI does not qualify you for necessarily going into the professional tier, if I understand that question right. So you just have to submit in the regular category, even if you have, you know, like 15, 20 books on Pathfinder Infinite. If you've never officially been in a hardcover book in a Kickstarter, a Battle Zoo, a Paizo book, you know, I would even say if you've been in like one of, you know, Gardener's Guide or anything, or the Leshy expansion book, like those would also qualify. So, but yeah, I'd say if you're just a PFI author and that's all you got, just go in the standard bracket and enter there.
I think that's a fair way of doing it. Okay, anything else? It is also 2 a.m. for me, so that's why I'm like not making the best conversation.
Let's give Jerry some time to sleep. Yeah,
shall
I think that's reasonable.
We can wrap up there, I think. Like, I think we we did so much stuff. Oh, here's one last thing. This isn't a question, but it is a good statement. A book all about class archetypes. Huh.
That would be fun.
Huh.
I would love to. I could, like a whole book of class archetypes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I could see, because Archetypes Plus did cover a lot of archetypes, but it didn't cover everything. And there's still
It didn't do a whole lot of class archetypes either. We kind of focused on regular archetypes. So that is an idea. I don't hate that.
Yeah, I think an Archetypes Plus Volume 2 would be an interesting one to go into. And there are plenty of archetypes that have come out since Archetypes Plus that we haven't, you know, we haven't done any expansion for. That would be really interesting to see buffed up. And yes, also Mythic could be where that stuff goes. We'll have to have a proper like think tank about what options to put down, because I feel like a lot of the stuff we have previously put down got rolled into Adventures Plus. Like Kingdoms Plus was something we had, and I ended up, you know. Ironically, Adventures Plus doesn't really have any kingdom stuff, but relationship rules was a big thing there.
Yeah. Which, for those of you that were looking for base building, we would both recommend Michael Hosp's base building rules in, I forget which book exactly it's in, but
let me pull it up. It's something hero. Oh god, I have this book. I've used this book.
Yeah, Michael Hosp single-handedly made us go, well, we can't
do better than that.
more words to this than this, so
yeah.
you have the win.
Where? Hold on, I have to pull this up. Where on earth?
Lodgings, retinues of the roaming hero seems to be the quest. Yeah, maybe that's it.
I think so. That's the one. And it's just such a good book that we had a real conversation about. About. Can we just ask him if he wants to put what he's already written in this? But we ended up saying it felt
weird to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were gonna pay him obviously, but it was like this stuff is already out there for pay what you want. I don't want to rob people. Lodgings of the Roaming Hero. That's correct.
That's it.
And it is such a fantastic book. But yeah, that was one of the things that was originally going to be Adventures Plus, but we just could not do it better than Michael did.
Yep.
But yeah, beyond that, we will. Oh, here's one last thing. Will Paragon Cleric get reworked with the new changes to Magus and Summoner bounded casting? I actually generally don't know.
And that's all we have, folks.
Yeah. That's a good place to end it.
That's a great question. And
we wipe our brows with sweat and we go, oh god.
So
okay.
We're actively thinking about old classes plus books. We understand that we have in the past been a big fan of bounded casting. We are evaluating.
Yeah.
We feel like, despite both of us being very excited about the changes, we do feel like Magus and Summoner are looking very strong in their current state. And our budget design originally was definitely with the bounded casting restrictions in the model. So we'll have to think about it. It's not out of the question, but cannot give you an answer today.
We'll properly evaluate once Adventures Plus is done. I think that's our answer for now.
That's the perfect answer.
Okay, so we'll call it there. Thank you all so much, everyone. If you are not in the Team Plus Discord, make sure to go check it out. It's in any of our books. To stay up to date. One last thing, actually. And you guys get to see this early because I haven't done the promotional rounds for it yet. But we have a bundle up, the GenCon 26 bundle, which I think saves something like $100 if you've never bought one of our books before.
Wow.
And that's... Oh, that one didn't get censored.
Oh, yours got censored.
Oh, okay.
It did. I'm seeing stars, unfortunately.
Dang. Well, point is, if you go to Pathfinder Infinite, it's there on the front page. Bundle Plus has every single one of our books in one big bundle for $60, and for everything that you don't already, or everything that you already own, you get a discount. And there's some really good stuff in here, guys. Like, not to toot our own horn, but like, there's good stuff in here.
$60 for the catalog's tough to beat.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like even if you really think we're very mid, I feel like that's still a pretty good
like,
deal, you know? Like,
yeah. So you can grab that. That will be going on for all of Gen Con plus a little bit. And we will be properly promoting it tomorrow. It was supposed to be today, but oopsie. And yeah. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for checking out Adventures Plus, and we will see you very soon when the Vessel and Trickster classes go live. Night, everyone. Bye-bye. And okay.